as the boys know, I'm deep in the AI rabbit holes all the time, and I watch hours and hours of content on what's happening in AI, what's happening, listening to the CEOs of these mega companies and things like that, and where the market's sort of moving. And there's quite an important reason for why. Obviously, keeping on top of what's going on, but when it comes to these chatbot models, they have memories, and those memories obviously get better and better the more you use it, because it learns more and more about you, it learns more about your tendencies, it learns more about your business, and all of that can get stored. So in the limit of that, what chatbot do I have the most faith in to spend all this time training it on who I am, so that in the future I can make sure I'm using the most optimized AI version that's going to help me the best? And when you look at it, I watch quite a lot of open AI. So Sam Altman, Demis Hassabis of Google DeepMind, who's the this kind of tech director now of Google, and of course Elon Musk at XAI, and some of his senior staff. And I listen to them on podcasts. I watch their kind of shareholder talks and staff talks when they're announcing new models and changes. And it is there's almost no comparison. XAI is going for it. So that's Grok. XAI are going to build servers in space, and obviously Elon's got the spaceships to be able to deliver those servers. And what that means is you'll have access to much greater volumes of energy and therefore compute. And he's already got the biggest data centers, and he's like tripling and quadrupling down on that. So he's most certainly going to have the best performing AI. I think Google DeepMind is going to produce the best AI for more scientific endeavors. But when it comes to consumer use, Grok has such a monopoly because it's plugged into X. And I know Google's Gemini's plugged into Google, but they're focused very much more on the scientific frontier. So I just think if I'm going to put my energy and efforts into a chatbot and something that each year progressively is going to keep helping me more and more and more, I'd rather make sure that the memory, the training data, and everything that I'm giving it is for something that has the most likely outcome of being the best model in the future and winning the market share. I just don't think it's Chat GPT. I don't see how OpenAI are going to win that race. They don't have the kind of IP that Google and Grok
Infrastructure.
have. And he's obviously got that access to space. So he's likely going to win that aspect of the race. So that's just something to think about when you're putting the effort into these models, which is why I always use Grok. I upgraded to the business account as well, it gives you more access. And I've inquired about the enterprise level to get access to the API and to be able to use it in our software development part of the business, where we're building out the client portal, we're building out all these toolkits and all those sort of things. So
Yeah, but the AI you're working on now, is it gonna be an adaptation of that same AI over the next 20 years? Or is it gonna be a new AI that they release, like a new phone? Or is it like the same memory that gets
so
replenished and changed? Do you keep working on? Or do they just go Control Alt Delete, let's build a new AI, and then all your hard work to date is lost?
No, the model keeps improving, but the memory kind of stays there banked. It doesn't necessarily bank across chats, but it will within those chats, and then you can take summary of those chats and pass it to another chat. But the actual bot itself gets used to your behavioral stuff and like how you like things worded, or do you know what I mean? If you like things more shorthand, or if you like deep explanations, or things like that. Like I've trained it on my. I've kind of got a benefit of most of my life's recorded on the internet, so I just got it to go hit road trip, hit Bow Partners, hit our website, hit our product guides, send it all this information so it knows as much as it can about me and the business. So when I'm asking it stuff, it's got full rounded context of how to help me. And then to Jack's point, for staff members, there's nothing better than sitting them down and just going, look at your workflows. Here's how to use this bot. And the best way is to get a staff member to train the bot on what it does, explain who you are, how you operate within this business, what is the business, what your day-to-day tasks look like, and then say to Grok, how can you help me be more efficient? And bear in mind, I'm this age, I'm not that tech enabled, or that tech proficient. How can you help me improve my workflow? And that generally is the best way to get loads of ideas. And then all of a sudden you've got elderly or slightly more mature staff members who are capable of shaving hours and hours off their workload. So let's go through a couple examples again. So Jack, I know you gave one there. Like, what's an example for you and how you might use a chatbot to help with efficiency? Just whatever it is, mate. I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it's all efficient, isn't it? If you're using AI.
There's certain things I know that you talked about it in the Ground Up Live event about sort of moving atoms is something that AI is very inefficient at, but other things it's really good at. So The typical things that I find it's good at, which benefits me massively, is I'm not a massive reader. I'm dyslexic. I'd much rather summaries. And I love how it can absolutely chew through paperwork and can be summaries and highlight poignant points. It's been sort of quite clear from the outset that from a legal standpoint, ChatGPT or any AI platform is really good at consuming information about legal law, paperwork, consolidating all of that sort of stuff. So one thing I love to do with ChatGPT is actually push documents through it and go, can you give me the poignant points that might be commercially or legally damaging to me if I accept this document, or going along the lines of actually, so for example, if you've got a dispute with a builder or with a third party, you can kind of almost talk through the process. So this is a situation. Where do I stand from a legal standpoint? This is the document I've agreed with them. Upload it into there, and then it will give you a really poignant way to approach it. And then you can say, I want to be more friendly because we have a good relationship with them, or you can say, I want to be more bullish, and then it can position it for you. Where that sometimes comes a little bit unstuck is when you know that the other party are doing the same, and you kind of get into this AI battle where, and this actually happens a lot with our tenants. So we'll AI a message to a tenant to say, you know, your bathroom's not clean enough. We've got your holding deposit, and this, I find it the most efficient. One thing I know you do, Ryan, and I absolutely love is, and I think this is absolutely massive for business owners that are on their own, just chatting to it like a second party, going through cognitive for you, cognitive feedback and approach. So saying, I've got this situation, this is how I feel. Can you give me some ideas of how I could approach it, or some of my options, or weigh up the, do a SWOT analysis? And the biggest limitation I feel of AI is the prompts and who's actually prompting it. So one thing in the Goldman Sachs course I got caught that I did, they were really encouraging for using AI to set a framework. So before you go into prompt, set a framework. So let's say I've got a big decision coming up. I don't just go in and be like, okay, I need to decide whether I need to sack this person or keep this person. You can go in and say, pretend you're my financial director and non-exec advisor in a meeting with me, the managing director. This is the situation we're dealing with, and I would like you to feed me back or even HR manager as well, as if we're having a four-way meeting, but you are the CFO, the non-exec advisor, and the HR department. Things that we need to consider, and then it will poignant it out for you, because we're obviously, go-getters, hungry, might be less diligent with making some decisions like that require a bit of legality and pull points from other perspective. But it then gives you that board of directors if you prompt it in the right framework.
You're touching on a really valuable point, mate. Like that, I use it a lot for business strategy, and the more it knows about your business, so the more you've trained it on your business. I think it's an important decision for a business owner to choose a chatbot and choose it in line with what's going to have the most longevity. Because once it becomes your strategic partner and it knows a lot about you, it becomes super valuable for that memory that it stores of you to be contextually accurate. And then you can lean on it and go, my model, I'm thinking of doing this and employing these staff members here or putting resource there. Help me think and strategize about the second and third order consequences I may not be thinking of. And it might say, well, did you know there's new regulatory things going through Parliament that you might not be aware of? Have you thought about those and the impacts they might have on, say, the renters' rights or stuff like that? And it's just like having a genius non-exec that you can lean on.